Radio.com.
KCAA.
No matter what it is in life that you want, you gotta go out there and get it. Just don't let it come to a sleeper but a dream. Never give up on your goals, stay focused on you. Focus your view, succeed, cause I'm hoping you do. Keep climbing up the ladder, cause the key to success. Go hard and go home, never settle for less. Life is stress, but we gotta deal with it, homie. Send a prayer to the man to put a shield on it. Work hard for what you get, appreciate what you
What's
got.
up, team? This is Robert Porter and Ipiani Lockhart with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAA NBC 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, and we will talk politics, culture, and history. What's up, Ipiani?
Yo, what up, Robert? How you doing, brother?
It's always a good show, and we're here together, man.
Amen, amen. We got another day today.
And we got the incredible Eric in the house.
Money.
Palm trees in progress.
Money.
Hey,
Hey, how do you get a hold of our app, man?
oh yeah, and you could download the app. Just check out KCAA on Google Play or the Apple App Store. So check that out, KCAA, and you could tune in Paris, California, or Paris, France.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so
Paris to Paris.
Just go get the app, yeah,
There you go,
KCAA
there you
app,
go.
and you can listen. Just press, come right on here, or you can go to the KCAA website.
Definitely.
If you're at home, and press the live button.
You might want to touch that screen because the phone's going to close in like a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got the history tidbit here. So before we go to maybe we'll do the history tidbit first, and then we can do our sponsors and
There you
everything,
go.
right? So I have a little a history from it. It says fabulous things never before seen, and it's a history of horses in New York City. Now you're like, that's not
New
San
York
Bernardino history.
City?
That's not San Bernardino history, but it is. Like, we had a serious horse history, right? And we had dirt roads and horses all over them.
All over the country.
San Bernardino was actually a thoroughfare. So I'm sure we had lots of horses, coming through. We don't think about that now, but we have lots of cars, right? So, and lots of pollution from those cars. So
there you
here's
go.
the history tidbit for today. Horse manure problem of 1894.
Oh,
Yeah, do you remember that? You remember that, Eric? You don't remember that? Okay.
as a time traveler right now.
Yeah. The 15 to 30 pounds of manure produced daily by each beast multiplied by the 150,000 plus horses in New York City resulted in more than 3 million pounds of horse manure per day that somehow needed to be disposed of. That's not to mention the daily 40,000 gallons of horse urine. Can I say PP on the air?
You just
Yeah,
did.
okay. In other words, cities reeked, as Morris says. The stench was omnipresent. Here are some fun bits from his article. Urban streets were minefields that needed to be navigated with the greatest care. Crossing sweepers stood on street corners for a fee. Always entrepreneurs out there.
There you go.
They would clear a path through the mire for pedestrians. Wet weather turned the streets into swamps and rivers of muck. But dry weather brought little improvement. The manure turned to dust, which was then whipped up by wind, choking pedestrians and coating buildings. Even when it had been removed from the streets, the manure piled up faster than it could be disposed of. Early in the century, farmers were happy to pay good money for the manure. By the end of the 1800s, stable owners had to pay to have it carted off. As a result of this glut, vacant lots in cities across America became piled high with manure. In New York City, these sometimes rose to 40 to even 60 feet high of horse manure. We need to remind ourselves that horse manure is an ideal breeding ground for flies which spread disease. Morris reports that the deadly outbreaks of typhoid and infant diarrheal diseases can be traced to spikes in the fly population. Can you say diarrheal? Is that okay? Okay.
Who knew that boo-boo
Yeah,
would
yeah.
cause boo-boo, you know?
That's true. Comparing fatalities associated with horse-related accidents in 1916 Chicago versus automobile accidents in 1997, he concludes that people were killed nearly 7 times more often in the good old days. The reasons for this are straightforward. Horse-drawn vehicles have an engine with a mind of its own. The skittishness of horses added a dangerous level of unpredictability to the 19th century transportation. This was particularly true in a bustling urban environment, full of surprises that could shock and spook the horses. Horses often stampeded, but in a more common danger came from horses kicking, biting, or trampling bystanders. Children were particularly at risk. Falls, injuries, and maltreatment also took a toll on the horses themselves. Data cited by Morris indicate that in 1880, more than 36 dead horses were cleared from New York City streets each day, nearly 15,000 a year. Now that's a San Bernardino history today. But I just wanted you to imagine what it would be like in San Bernardino in the old days like that, or Los Angeles, the equivalent, right, of probably New York, right?
I hear you.
I mean, that's a lot of horse bucky, right? Yeah, man.
Number two.
Yeah, so the way we look at smog today and automobile accidents.
I welcome the smog.
Yeah.
I welcome
Yeah, like, and that's a lot, airborne poo-poo, you
could probably cause cancer and probably all kind of conditions,
you're breathing that stuff in,
Yeah.
and wow. So it's just an interesting way to look at things, and what I'm also trying to say is just because it's the good old days doesn't mean it was the good old days, right?
Some things we're happy are behind us.
Yes. Sometimes it's best just to read and laugh at it on Facebook, right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Johnny, for letting me read that off there. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I was wondering if I could get some of those.
40,000 gallons of number one.
Yeah. That's what do you do with that? I mean, that's a lot, and then also you gotta give that much water to the horses. So there has to be water availability, and like all these things that we don't think about nowadays, right?
Well, we still think about water availability.
But
that's
like
fundamental,
but for transportation, it's like, is there gas, or do they have an electric charging station?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Tesla spot?
There is a supercharger.
Yeah. So it's a little bit something interesting. And I'd like to mention our sponsors for the show. We have a Golden Pizza and Wings on Golden and Highland, and Olive and Waterman, and man, they got a deal: $6.95 plus tax all day, every day for a large cheese or cheese and pepperoni.
All right.
It's good pizza, man.
Yes,
if you want to
is.
feed your kids, they have all kinds of other specials that involve salads and things like that. So I eat the chicken salad, and it's good. I mean, I feed that to my mama. She's diabetic, so she needs to eat good stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll let her cheat, and I'll cut the crust off, and I'll just scrape one piece of the toppings on another piece and let her have at it.
I hear you.
I didn't raise it that much last time.
That's what's up.
But she
mindful.
loved it. Yeah.
I believe you. Real food.
It's good. It's good. Can we eat that again tomorrow?
I hear you.
I love you, Mama. I love you so
Amen.
much.
Amen.
We're trying to get her the best stuff. My brother got her In and Out with the
lettuce wrap. Yeah.
Like she asked for that the next day too.
For real.
But,
you're finding her go-tos.
I'm hoping to do that with Chubsy.
You're gonna have to bring in the lettuce.
I'm taking in the big guns.
There you go. There you go. She's gonna love that then.
Have you tried Chubsy's yet? Oh, they're over there on Highland and it's Sierra.
Sterling.
Sterling, yeah, Highland and Sterling, and it's by the Crazy Boss over there. And the incredible burgers.
Yes, indeed.
Smash burgers, and they started out as just
pop-up.
just pop-up chilling,
Mm-hmm.
and now they got the brick and mortar, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Kind of like the McDonald's
Yeah.
story, dude.
Hopefully so, man. Like I always told Vic, like as I build these finances and get my money on a more investment level, right? I would love to be the second franchisee of Chubsy's.
Yeah, in your finances. Yeah.
Finances.
That's what it equals. Yeah, eventually finances.
Well, hopefully that'll
Yeah.
bring in some fine.
Finances.
You know, I'm a single man and I need to plant this seed. You know what I mean? And then if the money's right.
He's just like the engineer
the
said. You
compound.
just lost half your show, dude.
No, we're breaking it in. We're breaking it. We're going to build some kingdoms and compounds. You know what I mean?
Mr. Nori's like, what are you doing, man? He's a real filmmaker. You're like, I don't know we don't even know what we're doing on here. We just do it. We just make it up.
Welcome to the manure show.
Yeah. So go down to Golden Pizza, say what's up to Ted, and get yourself one of their deals. They have like family deals, big ones and stuff too. If you need to do something for a party or something, so head on over there and support local. We have a new sponsor coming up.
I was looking forward to this.
Pal Charter Academy.
Oh, awesome, brother.
Mr. Radin gave me a text and a call, and
Awesome.
and he said he'd be interested in sponsoring. So I'm going to head over there on Wednesday and do a tour of the campus. And talk to him about it and see what we got to go do. So
Shout out to
that'll
Moses.
help a lot, with getting this show on the air. Because
Awesome.
if you would be interested in being a sponsor for our business of the week or our non-for-profit of the week, we're looking for one of those, and that is just $25 per show, $100 a month. So if you're interested in that, or if you can only do one or two, and you have a specific business that you want to showcase, I'm more than willing to do that. And if you don't have any money and that business is really good, you tell me, and me and Yanni will make an effort to go
Definitely come
visit
out and
it.
support.
Yeah, because we like good stuff. Whatever
Totally.
it is.
And like you said, if an organization wants to just sponsor one show because they have an upcoming event, that's another way to utilize it as well.
Yeah,
so.
true. That'd be awesome. That's just something to look at. We do have our standout of the week, our I Love San Bernardino standout of the week, brought to you by Cindy Ta and Myokja Shabu Shabu across the street from Costco.
Hey now.
So like you're heading out Costco, you got gas. You heading out the Costco. Now, not the new one over there in
Highland. Yeah.
We're supporting local in San Bernardino if you can. But go to it's still in the county.
We are. I love San Bernardino County now.
We're in the county. But I like to.
Nah,
in the
you're
city,
a hometown
if I can.
boy.
Yeah.
You're a hometown boy.
In our tax dollars, our sales tax dollars pay for our potholes and everything, right?
Pay for our potholes.
Yeah. So we
to get a feel, but this pays.
Yeah. We gotta spend some money here.
Amen.
Oh, Lord. Oh man, we just have too much fun. But our standout of the week this week is somebody I really want to showcase. Muhammad Ali. The owner of Burger Point over near the Orange Show right there,
Mill
right?
Street, Mill.
So Mill and was it E Street, right? It's like
Mill and E.
Yeah, but it's like a little bit over.
Yeah,
right?
down
it's
the street a
old
little.
McDonald's that used to be there, right?
Exactly.
And it burned down, and he rebuilt, and then like some dude had his wife literally murdered in the parking lot, man.
Sadly, I saw that.
Yeah, like he did absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah. Right, so everyone's like, oh, Burger Point had a murder in the parking lot before anybody knew anything, right? So all that bad business, people talking, if you talk business bad about him, I didn't talk nothing bad. That's terrible for a business. But if you did, you need to go buy a burger.
There you go.
Get over there and buy a burger from him.
Very similar to, sadly, the Santa Fe market. As you go over to Vadak towards the west side, someone sadly was killed there, and I still going to patronize the market because my father used to go there all the time because he would get the hog head cheese from over there, and every once in a while I'll go and stop in and get some of the spicy hog head cheese over there. It's really good for those that like that,
Yeah.
Have you ever had hog head cheese?
We're going to have a taste test on here, dude.
Okay.
I've never had that.
Definitely. Well, basically, it's not cheese, right? It's just basically the meat from the pig's head, and that they
You put it on crackers or something?
yeah, well, it comes out like bologna, right? So it's like sandwich meat, right? So you can put it on a sandwich, and that's my dad would put it on crackers.
Get your mom hook something up.
You
Bring
know
it
what?
on in.
This would be something that my dad would go and pick up for himself.
Oh.
My mom does not eat it.
Oh,
right?
she goes out and eat. Oh.
I eat it, and my dad eats it. My brother doesn't
Oh,
eat
so
any pork.
you are keeping the recipe
Yeah,
alive.
keeping it alive by going over and patronizing Santa Fe Market. So
I was going to ask you about that. I've been asking my mom too, and I've been collecting all our family recipes in our house. Have you? Do you guys have a family?
We have a family recipe. We have a
book?
family cookbook that
Yeah.
we often sell when we've been our books and everything.
Oh, that's
I gotta
great.
get you a copy.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Definitely.
dude.
I might
and-
have one in the car. I might be able to
and,
get
like,
you today.
Have you added any recipes?
Yeah,
to that?
you know what? Not in the recipe book, but we did. Our family did do a anthology of stories called Trials and Tribulations Against the Tides. So a lot of our family members contributed stories into that book. So we have our family. We have a lot of writers in our family. My immediate family and extended family. My grandmother, my mom's mom, wrote a book called Homelands, and in that book, what's so amazing is that she kind of prophetically said things that were going to happen in our family. She spoke about one of her grandchildren going to Harvard, which my cousin Fayola got a scholarship to Harvard, graduated there. Now she's a doctor. You know what I mean? So some of the things that she wrote about in that book, her dream of Homeland, and you can find it on Amazon.
Actually took place and happened,
actually
right?
came to fruition.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's
that's
amazing.
That's why you put it forward, right?
Hey, that's why you
put it
speak
out there.
life. You
Yeah.
speak life. You speak it as you want it to be, and you work towards that. Don't speak that death and negativity over yourself, because don't be surprised if that's all you have.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
And and I want to thank Burger Point. Muhammad Ali is like contacted me so many times to come in there, and I'm sure he'll pay for me, right?
Definitely.
But I try to sneak in there so he doesn't have to pay
No,
for me.
I hear what
right?
you're saying. So
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you could give your honest thoughts and
Yeah,
reflections about that
And,
pressure.
and the food that was good.
Because you
good.
and Amy
Yeah,
went
yeah.
and got what is it, like a chili relleno
Yeah,
burrito?
yeah. It was. I wasn't expecting to get that there.
I hear you.
Honestly, but it was good. And what I really want there is I want some pancakes and eggs and bacon.
I hear you.
But I want it.
I hear you.
So,
Let me get the
I'm not real
Old Faithful.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for next, and I will make it over there. My schedule's been really crazy lately, but we will make it over there and do that. So
You know, I'm going to have to go over there and give them another shot. I did enjoy the French fries when I had a burger one time, but I'm going to go over there and I'm going to try their pastrami burger because I like pastrami burgers, and I'm going to give my honest review. I'm honest Abe over here. If I like it, I like it. If it's okay, it's okay.
And the Angel Baby was over there, and he did like a car show there to help him out as well.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean,
Shout out to Angel Baby.
yeah, the dude's always helping everybody
Totally,
out,
totally,
man.
totally.
I
I
mean,
want him to come on here one day.
like Luther might be able to work that. It's just hard. Like when you're a radio show host, and you're
like
always
you don't want to
out.
come back to the office on your off day. Like I'm here.
Hey,
Like, I
you guys,
have one day off,
I was lucky enough for him to come on my show like a week before he announced the big news of him covering
our
the
goal.
show.
Yeah,
it
you
was,
scored Angel Baby.
yeah, and he didn't mention anything about it, but he said keep an eye out. There's stuff in the works, and a week later we saw that. So it was right when the episode dropped. That was pretty awesome.
So you are breaking the news unbeknownst to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So how are me and you and Yanni doing against Angel Baby and the Nielsen's ratings?
And I want to see those.
There's no competition. Come on.
Yeah.
We're all
Hey,
killing
could
it.
you look
We're
those up?
smashing
Can you
them.
look those up and maybe read them at the end of the show for us?
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Okay, I would love to see
I
it.
totally would love to hear that, like where we all stand in the shows. Maybe just your show, my show, and Angel Babies, On the Mark or something.
He's playing. He's trying to play like Big Bank, Little Bank.
Well, we're community finance over here.
Right, man? little friendly competition, right?
Well, it's all for the same network.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it would just show us how much more work that we each need to do to help
to
lift
catch up to Eric.
to catch up to Eric, as well as try to
That's why he
rise
won't
up to
tell
Angel
us, because
Baby.
he's like, man, I don't want to make him look bad on the air.
Like we're the worst performing show on the network,
Yeah,
but
there's
he
like
doesn't want to
we
tell
have
us.
2 viewers and 1
it's both
listener.
for our moms.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
both for our moms.
My mom at least my girl and my mom might actually be listening this time, but you never know.
There you go.
Because Amy's probably cooking dinner or doing something.
I know a few shows ago when we were saying, like, you know, Amy's probably listening. She hit me up on Facebook like, yeah, I'm listening. You know, so she be listening. So all love.
Yeah, we appreciate you listening too, and we're gonna appreciate those steaks a little later. Do you have any announcements or?
We'll definitely have an announcement. I want to give an update. Just definitely want to shout out the Artivism IE event that took place over the weekend at Creative Grounds over there off of E and 4th Street. So
have you been there before? Have you tried
Creative Grounds is awesome. It's like literally right down the street from Viva La Boba. And shout out to Viva La Boba with the opening of their second location in Redlands.
Yeah, there was actually, I believe, a viewing of about cannabis and cancer at Creative Grounds. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's
It
up.
was back in the day.
I have been there.
Actually, that's the second time I saw you.
There you go, dude.
Yes.
Shout out to Dewan and Jay and all the organizers, Angie. And they're having another one at Pitzer College in Ontario in May. I can't think of the date off the top. But also one thing that I want to share and a wonderful opportunity, I'm going to be orchestrating some healing circles here in San Bernardino as well as Riverside County over the course of the next 3 months. Our first healing circle in San Bernardino is going to take place at Operation New Hope on March 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I have 3 healing modules that we're going to work ourselves through in a healing circle, collectively sharing our lived experiences. And I've incentivized it where if the person wants to participate in our healing circle and complete the 3 modules over the course of March, April, and May, I am going to provide them with a $100 gift card. So basically what they're signing up for is a 6-hour commitment over the course of 3 months, right? And we're going to meet in San Bernardino on the 3rd Saturdays, and then for our Riverside location is going to be on the 4th Saturday. So I have 5 participants already locked in for San Bernardino, so I have 5 more slots left. That might be filling up quick because I just sent an email out to the host of the venue.
Yeah,
so,
Yanni's true. He's true. Like he gave us a $50 gift card, right? And we went over to September's.
I hear you. I hear you.
Man, they had some good food.
You know, because I'm big on, like, you know, I volunteer and I give back, but
he does give back. He does. And in
I'm
fact, he's a sponsor on this show of Motivational Realization.
The energy of positive thought.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm an entrepreneur as well, so I've never been big on asking people to work for free. You know what I mean? Like, so I try to incentivize
And I
them.
honestly, I would, but I am just, man.
No, I hear you. You know, I reached out.
I
I went through the back channels to reach out to, you know, the inner circle.
Yeah, for me, like, right now, my life is a multitask.
It's a
and
new-
I
new
keep
change.
forgetting my stuff because I'm a multitasker on my level. I never use a calendar.
Oh, well,
That is totally changed.
Yeah, yeah, about
because
some
if
time to
I don't
dust
use
it
a
off.
calendar, my mom's stuff don't happen, right? And
hear you.
like that's life or death stuff, right? So you have to.
Totally.
And then I'm
totally.
like, well, shouldn't I just make one for me too?
Yes,
like,
you should.
Like,
Yes,
gosh,
you should.
all right. Like,
Welcome
then
to
I realized,
2025.
Where do I put my stuff? Oh man. So I'm multitasking and all, but once I get more situated, my mom says she would come with me in some things here or
Awesome.
there. So
Definitely.
and I will help out more of your events. I'm
No,
sorry
no,
I haven't been able to.
No need to apologize, brother. I'm happy that you are making the priorities the right priorities, and that's
And
taking
I
care
like
of your
what
mother.
you're doing too.
Well, thank you, brother.
Yeah, that is. I mean, if anyone needs some healing, it's me.
We all do, you know. And I'm going to be facilitating this, but I have a lot to learn myself. And the healing circles that I have facilitated in the past, most recently, I helped facilitate one in the Chino's Men's Institution, right? So this is definitely a more relaxed setting. And if people are interested, because I still have about 7 slots left in Riverside. So if you're interested, you could go to my Facebook page, Ipyani, Ipyani, or you could go to my Instagram, Motivational Realizations, or Ipyani on there as well. And directly message me, and I'll send you the RSVP form, because I don't want to push it out so publicly where I don't want to have to deny people, right?
Yeah.
Because and then too, like I can't pay $5,000 worth of gift cards,
Yeah,
right?
like, yeah, totally,
I
yeah.
have a budget that I'm working with myself. I am the working poor, right? So I still, but I'm a good saver, so I put a little money
these
to the
healing,
side.
like I did a healing circle at James Reserve for holistic education and graduate school, and we did several projects, but one of them was building a mandala with just things like we use pine cones and sticks and things.
Kind of
you
like
know?
a centerpiece.
Yeah, yeah. But like you can make it any size you want. We made ours huge,
Oh.
right? But you know, like it was so healing, and then like we explained why we made our design in the center
Totally.
and everything,
Totally.
you know, and like I think mine was mostly focused on healing with my father.
You
So,
know,
yeah.
and it's funny that you say that because March 15th, the very first day for our San Bernardino Healing Circle coming up this Saturday, is on my father's birthday. So I'm definitely going to talk about that, you know. So, but it's definitely a coincidence there, you know. I know he'll be proud of what I'm building. You know,
Oh, absolutely,
you know,
he will
so.
be.
And I love you, Dad. You know,
Yeah.
thank you for everything. You know.
Well, we got through all this interesting stuff. Like we had I had so much I had to talk about, and there is a few things. I have a neighborhood association meeting we're restarting on Wednesday at Denny's at 5 o'clock. If you want to come on down there, you're welcome to. It's going to be a restart of it because. To be honest, I haven't been on it because my mom's been in the hospital.
Yeah, for real. You got a lot going on,
This is
brother.
a test, so we'll take my mom over there and we'll see how it goes.
I know she's gonna love the food.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I can only imagine what she's gonna want to get, you know. But we'll give her something, some salad beforehand.
I hear you. I hear you.
But Jeremy Noria, this guy right here, he has found a little niche that he excels in.
Awesome.
And you know, I like the Big Bear Alpine Zoo. I went there first when I was a kid. Well, I mean, we took a bus up there. I mean, I think we went twice in the whole time I was in school. And I remember going there, and we parked the buses at like a high school somewhere first, and then walked over there or something, right? Or something like that. Or we ate lunch at the high school or something like that, whatever it was. But I remember seeing my first bald eagle.
Oh.
And I thought that was just, it was hurt. So it was like being, I don't know, like they're taking care of a bald eagle that hurt. Like what, it can never fly again. You know, I had all these questions. I believe they had a wolf too at the time. Like, but it was like more of a someone's old pet or something.
Man.
Right, yeah.
God, must have been
Yeah.
what is it? What's the guy? Paul Bunyan.
Yeah,
It might have been
yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Bunyan's
Well,
animal.
So I have this affinity for that place, and when I saw that you're doing that work, and when I first started researching you after I found out your name through Eddie and Amethyst. Now you did about cannabis and cancer as well, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned Amethyst mentioned I Love San Bernardino in that video. That was very interesting. I remember Amethyst coming to me and asking about medical cannabis, and me basically introducing her to Eddie. And that's how that worked.
Sure.
Eddie has some incredible RSO his native healing oils. I'm sorry,
Right,
his native
right.
healing oils that does amazing things for people who need alternative forms of medicine. And he sticks to his guns, and he does it. But he also dabbles in snakes and frogs, and does things. He's doing 3D printing right now. So Eddie's been on the show like 3 times at least.
Awesome.
He's when something new comes out, he's usually doing something like that. Like he's always in the forefront. So he's making flutes and all that stuff. Incredible stuff. But are you working with him now on some new stuff?
Yeah, I'm working on a project. He also does sound bath meditations with the hand pan. So I've been learning about this instrument.
I love the sound of that instrument.
Yeah. The instrument itself is really, really interesting, and kind of how it works and the different types of sounds that you can get from tuning it and producing it in different ways.
Very similar to the Jamaican steel drum, just on the flipped
It
on the other
is.
side, pretty
It's
much.
it's similar, but also very distinct. Like
They both have their
I
sound.
thought it was more similar at first, and as they've been explaining it to me, it's very clear this is its own unique thing in its own way.
I would put them in the same family, like
Yeah,
different
yeah.
kind of drums, but or different kind of guitars, but yeah, they do have their unique sounds.
I
it's
think
like-
that's fair.
It's like this weird instrument that has its kind of own kind of sound, right? But it like you can tune it to where you can. It
What I
gives you
think
feel good.
really was fascinating about it is that all of the sounds are like in tune with each other. So it's so easy to play something harmonically. If you just kind of slam your fingers on a piano, it's not harmonic.
Yeah, I hear
It's
what
like,
you're saying.
it sounds like noise. But on this, if you were just to like tap it a few times,
Yeah.
it sounds like something's
Like you
there
know what
right
you're
away.
doing.
And it
Yeah.
feels good. You
Yeah.
can
No, totally.
feel it.
It's a
The
beautiful
vibrations,
thing.
the frequencies, there's something about that and how it interacts with us.
Yep.
you
So I'm learning about alternative medicines in this project of all different kinds. And so this is one of those kinds. And it might be its own project, kind of how it's used in corporation with some other alternative medicines. But yeah, Eddie kind of has been lining me up with all kinds of different interesting people to talk to. And he's such a great friend and wonderful promoter of the film we made. If everyone that I worked with was half the promoter that Eddie was, I would be very fortunate. So, yeah, he's great. I'm looking forward to finishing that project. We're really close.
And I always, like to use former guests as a segue into the current work that the guest is doing. So I met you through Eddie. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born?
Sure.
About your business.
Yeah, I'll give you a little rundown. So, I was born in Hollywood, lived in the Valley. Then, I grew up Catholic, very conservative. My dad is from Scotland, so I was not a popular kid.
Is that
Some-
a kilt? Or? Yeah, what family?
Yeah, I'm from the Clan MacLeod.
Oh, right on,
So,
right on.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
growing up was different. I played soccer. All the other kids want to play football and basketball. And so I was an outcast always. It wasn't cool like it is on TV now. But, growing up, I loved my exposure to all the nerdy things that I was into. But eventually I wanted to party. So I had kind of a wild end of high school and kind of after high school period in my 20s and
There
what
you
have
go.
you.
That's what you're supposed to.
Yeah, and it was exciting.
Like who didn't? Like if you didn't, maybe they were at that Catholic school or whatever. Yeah.
It got bad for me because I then sold drugs and I
You took it to the extreme.
yeah it got bad. I've been home invaded numerous times,
Whoa.
robbed numerous times. So eventually I did write a book about all those bad times.
Okay.
But in my 20s, I also found cannabis, and I loved the sport of mixed martial arts, and so I was writing for these websites about mixed martial arts, like UFC stuff, because it was very unpopular, or it was
It was in
pushed
its
in the
infancy
shadows.
at that.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Got banned from pay-per-view, and so there was an opening to kind of do this. There was no money in it, and I was doing it because I loved it.
Awesome.
And then a person saw what I was doing with that and offered me an opportunity to write for Weed Magazine.
Awesome.
And that kind of began my career in the cannabis industry. So I wrote for this magazine for a while. And the owner of the magazine was from Canada, and he was not allowed in the United States due to some legal troubles. So I became his person in California that he would
Eyes and
send
ears.
to go, oh, so-and-so contacted the magazine. They need somebody to go do an article
Awesome.
on them. It was me. So
Ah,
I was
awesome.
meeting all these leaders of the cannabis industry that was emerging in California. And then in kind of the same time as that, my friends were learning about making this hash that became really popular. Called
Okay.
BHO. And we're very early on in the adoption of this, learning that and kind of popularizing some of the things that were around at that time. So I ended up winning the Cannabis Cup in 2009 in Amsterdam for the
Awesome.
first dabbing tool.
Yeah.
With the Cannabis magazine. So, like, the magazine had a booth. You needed a booth to enter, and then my friends that were making this new tool for dabbing, the first tool ever for
Awesome.
dabbing.
Well, I
and it
don't know what
wasn't
I should
called
do.
dabbing at
Should
that
I
time.
bow or salute or yeah?
Yeah. To certain people, it is like that because they've been through the whole journey. But some people, it's like,
No, like
whatever.
stay no to drugs.
Yeah, nobody uses these tools anymore, anyways. So, but we won, and that began kind of my leading. I was leading a role in the cannabis culture in a way.
Yes.
And it was kind of related to dabbing. So that kind of brought me towards, eventually, I did other things. And the 2012, another company, we won a Cannabis Cup for the first domeless nail. And then that kind of brought me into hosting a cannabis competition. So I was still writing for the magazine.
Yeah.
One of my friends was doing a competition for this hash that we were all making. The community was small. We all kind of knew each other at that time. And the states were opening up to cannabis.
Awesome.
So people from California would, maybe move to another state to have a chance at this new
I hear you. Opportunity, new
opportunity.
industry.
And that still happens. But at that time, it was Colorado. And my friend had moved to Colorado, and he was kind of leading the charge. I think he had the first brand of concentrate.
Okay.
And it was a transitional time where, like, now you were able to kind of create logos and branding.
It was a weird
It
time,
was-
but it was
Before that was
creative.
evidence,
I hear
know?
I
So,
know. I hear
like,
you. I hear you.
Dude, I have a manila envelope filled with all those old logos and cards and everything.
Yeah.
Someday, and it says to the Historical Society.
There you go.
On
So
there.
amongst
That's
us
what's up.
all, we had these conversations
Yeah.
about who had the best hash. And the competition at the time was High Times. And High Times did all these weird political things with their competition where the people who were making the hash, they knew they had better hash than who was winning. It was like, how are they winning?
Probably
and it felt like
helping
it
sponsor the event or
there
something.
was all kinds of questionable theories about how
I
this
hear
was happening. But ultimately, they just, like, my friend decided we need to have our own competition. That was what the Secret Cup was. They kind of theorized in this group how you would have the ultimate cannabis competition for hash at that time, and then, would you separate it into different? No, just let them all compete against each other.
Is that what
And-
you did?
Yeah, and that's what it was. He created it, the original format of it.
What about the difference between, like, ice hash or?
Well, that was what they
press?
wanted to know. The argument was, similar to martial arts when the UFC came around. It was like, oh, what's better, boxing or like kickboxing
I hear
or
you.
jujitsu
Or
or
Muay
what is
Thai,
it?
or-
And that conversation usually gets kind of weeded out in cannabis competitions because of categories.
I like that.
So,
Weed it out.
yeah. No pun intended, but hey, there it is. So they decided at that time, no, let's let it be a battle royal. Bloodsport was their example.
Shout out to
And-
Van Damme.
Yeah. So he thought of the movie Bloodsport, and he thought, like, look, they're all like different, competing. It's
Shit.
very similar to what the UFC was.
Damn.
So that's what it was. You make whatever kind of hash you want and bring it to the table. And if it's the best hash, then we'll all just sit down and say that it's the best hash.
is what it is.
But if it's not the best hash, then you're going to have to swallow it. And there was all kinds of little things
Yeah.
that ended up being incorporated in the Secret Cup. The very first one was supposed to kind of be a one and done. I went to cover it for the magazine,
Yeah.
and he was completely overwhelmed. And I said, well, I used to just attend all these.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like a fanatic.
I hear you.
How about I just help you do this? I knew what to do.
I hear you.
And I helped him.
Awesome.
And then I told him, I want to do this. And so I lived in California still. And we were kind of thinking, Colorado?
I hear you. Yeah,
Let
nothing
us
to the-
have a shot
got
at
the humble
this.
we got
Yeah,
the
You
triangle up
know,
here.
maybe we could do a little better. And so we did. And then that kind of spurred what ultimately became, we had regionals. So I did an LA Secret Cup. And then he wanted to do a Colorado one. Ultimately, I got brought in to throw all of the future Secret Cups.
I hear you.
Because he was overwhelmed, and knew it, and then
Yeah.
paid me to do the first series of them.
That's awesome.
And then from there on out, we became partners. And I was able to change a little bit of the way that the competition worked for my event, and then that just became the way
The
for
standard.
everything
I hear
from
you.
there on out.
Was that just a winner takes all?
Well, he had the categories, like smell and taste was one category in his first thing. There was also like, you didn't get all of the samples. Certain people got certain samples so that it would be an entire random thing. But then it became like certain people are more generous with the way that they score. Like maybe I'm more likely to score 7s and 8s, whereas somebody else is more likely to score like
4s
5s and
yeah,
6s.
I hear you.
And so that became an uneven thing. And so ultimately it had to be everybody got every sample.
There you go.
And then everything became categorized individually.
No, that makes the most sense. Uniformity, and everyone gets the same thing. So.
Yeah, so that's how it was. And then we did regionals, and then at the end of the year, we would have a finals with the winners from all
Each
the
of the
regions.
regionals,
So
yeah.
we would have at first.
Sounds like the NCAA
national-
tournament
yeah.
of cannabis. Man.
At first, it was a national champion, and then
Yeah.
ultimately, I took the event to
International.
Spain and to Amsterdam, and so we had
awesome.
international champions.
That's
yeah.
amazing. But how did you get into? How did that get us into documentary?
Perfect segue. So I knew it was special, right? And we're doing this thing, and we're going around, and like we have the people are with us, and like we're getting this popularity that was hard to achieve in other ways. And it was really unique. I'm meeting all these like famous hash or like weed people, and they all want to be a part of the event.
Yeah, yeah.
And people are contacting us, come to our town.
Yeah.
We'll like take you all around. And they're like,
Definitely.
all this stuff is happening. I knew, oh, this has to be documented. I'm a weed guy selling weed out of my house. I watch documentaries. I watch
Yeah.
every single kind of show.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I knew this was one of those things.
One of these
So I
opportunities.
hired a company to come in, like film
Yeah, yeah.
some of our stuff. But originally it was just promotional. I'm like, okay, we can shoot some really great highlight videos, maybe like have like a short or something about this. And then it became kind of a more expensive and more cumbersome thing. They were also doing some stuff that I thought was really cool and unique, where they were interviewing us a little bit more so than I was expecting. And there seemed to be something there more than just a highlight video.
I hear you.
So it became a documentary, and then that
On its own? Like how much did you have to?
it became, I wanted it to become a documentary.
Okay.
And so I forced this to happen over the course of time. And me and the videographers that we hired, who had never made a documentary, learned how to make a documentary.
That's awesome.
And we made one together, and we thought it was pretty good. And I still like it. And some people really like it, maybe even more so than the one we ultimately made.
Definitely.
But when it came time to distribute this thing, there became a point of everyone that in the cannabis industry that told me, oh, I know Vice. I know whatever it is. No, they didn't know those places the way that they said
was
they
blowing
did.
smoke. I
And
hear
they
you.
couldn't open doors for me,
I hear
you
you.
know, where it was a lot of promises and a lot of closed doors until a friend introduced me to someone who introduced me to someone who introduced me to someone.
I hear you.
And then that's the person that I work with now.
Awesome.
And so ultimately, what I learned was that what we had made wasn't ready to be distributed. We had something that was close, but it needed to be kind of recut.
Cleaned up and yeah.
And then ultimately, I just provided all the raw footage to my co-producer, and he cut an entirely new documentary.
That's
Yeah.
amazing with the raw footage, how you can use the same, you can make so many creations from it, you know?
It's true. And so the other thing I learned was it's a lot easier to make something correctly from the beginning than it is to fix something that you haven't.
Yes.
Words of wisdom.
Right.
Say that one more time.
Yes,
Say that one more
exactly.
time.
So Eddie's documentary was the second documentary I ever made. And the first one I made was with another guy named Pete, and they were both cannabis and cancer stories. My friend that is my co-producer, he said to me, look, we don't have to just tell weed stories. You know, what do you want to do? And I said, well, there's other stuff that I do want to do, but this is what I think is the most important. Like, in my journeys, doing all this stuff, having fun smoking hash and whatever. And then I ultimately also helped throw a huge event called Chalice that was just like our event with steroids, and it was like the Coachella of weed to a certain
with
extent.
Hitman Glass.
Yes,
yeah,
with
I
Hitman
actually
Glass.
went to that. Eddie
Yeah,
was
I
running
mean,
around
we
in
had
his golf
the
court.
Wu-Tang Clan, and we had Ice Cube.
That
and,
was a crazy
like they were
event.
crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
my.
huge money.
Awesome.
It was an adventure. A lot of people remember it fondly. I have like partly a fond remember.
Because you got the organizing, and
Yeah.
that's a whole. You don't get to enjoy the event.
Yeah.
'Cause
A
really rough,
little
too.
history. I actually was a judge in that event.
Okay.
There
For
you
Cannabis
go.
Corner
So
with
there you
Elmo
go.
Green Med.
there you go. Awesome.
So, like, I met all these people and doing
Yeah.
all these crazy things that were for fun, but these people were motivated for something greater than fun. And I wanted to bring them exposure to their mission, which was healing people. And so I was able to kind of give Eddie this platform and Pete this platform. And then from there, their movies were popular enough that my co-producer was like, let's make more stuff together. What else do you want to do? These are the topics that are popular, and strange phenomenon topics were in there. And I used to watch Bigfoot on
Yeah.
TV
Yeah.
and UFOs, and I loved all those things. And I had a friend show up at my house one time to buy weed. He came from Vegas, and he had listened to Art Bell all the way on coast to coast.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, he showed up and he's like, aliens are real. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then he had all these reasonable reasons to everything
Yeah.
I had to say. And then by the end of that conversation, I was like, oh, maybe I've been a little like quick to judge this. And from that point on,
Yeah.
I've been interested. And
That's
so
awesome.
we made a bunch of stuff
Yeah, yeah.
in that world.
Have you found any evidence that's convinced you possibly, or?
Well, the third movie we made was Don't Call Me Bigfoot, and that was virally popular. It became millions of people have watched that movie.
Now, I'm very interested in this because
Mm-hmm.
I went directly to an anthropologist and questioned why we have not found the evidence for Bigfoot, like DNA or something.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Or
So
skeleton.
I want to hear your explanation first, and then I'll tell them.
So, well, I lean towards I'm on the fence still.
Okay.
Right? Where some of these people have very convincing, like, firsthand experiences. But I'm with you. Where's the evidence? When I talk to these UFO guys, oh my God, they have government redacted files. They have, radar, eyewitness, multiple eyewitness, like video, photo, and a lot of them all agree that this is probably true. They're not all fighting about the evidence. With Bigfoot, it's really all over the place.
I hear you.
Like a lot of them like the Patterson-Gimlin film, the old one, right? Patty.
When he's walking.
The
yeah.
one we have all seen.
Yeah.
A lot of them like that one. But other than that one, they kind of argue a lot.
I hear you. I
Where
hear
it's like, no, he's faking it. Oh, no, this one's real.
Or
And,
someone on their deathbed admits that they did it, or whatever.
and they have
Yeah.
like really, really big claims where like
hear you.
Bigfoot dematerializes. Okay,
Lord,
well,
so that's-
you're going to need some more evidence
I
for
hear
that.
you. That's
And
a-
then what about the government is hiding Bigfoot from us? Well, you don't have government redacted files that say that.
I hear you.
So I don't know. Like Bigfoot, I'm less likely to believe, but I'm still open to this possibility because the
good.
Native Americans had so many names for this kind of wild man of the woods type thing. And it's all over these different places, and they're not all exactly the same.
I hear you.
There's like, oh, ours is gray and short.
Because it could be different
Mm-hmm.
species, just like fish and horses. You got the Colt, you got the Mustang, you got the Bronco. So each region could,
That's what I think too. And it's entirely reasonable that in some region, one of these is real.
I would. I mean,
So how he told me to do it, he said, do a home range calorie survey, right? The amount of possible calories that can be gained in a certain square mile area based off the species that are in that area. And if it is large enough to sustain a large mammal, right, then that means that they'll probably need at least that big a place to be hiding, and then there will be that many bones around that area, right? So he'd assume that once you add all those things up, it's kind of hard to,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So there was also the argument that, oh, well, maybe they bury their dead. Or maybe they do something with the bones of some
Or
sort.
it's a Native American tribe dressed doing their shamanistic things privately and they run into a hunter and they're like, "Hey, we're not supposed to see anybody. We're out of here." But they're wearing a bear costume or something. Yeah.
No, awesome. The question I have for you, because you said it's more so the supernatural, the mythological things. From the ghost side of things, have you experienced anything in your interviews that made your hair stand up and it's like, yo, we're getting the hell out of here, yo?
I definitely have something to talk about. It's not what you're thinking, but we did an EVP story.
That's it,
electronic voice phenomenon.
Okay.
And they have these new things called like voice boxes or something,
I've
where
seen something.
it's less the traditional EVP. You like walk in a room, you record something, you don't hear anything, you go back and you play it back, and then you hear it.
These are one of nowadays they're like live.
They're live. Yeah, they're like basically running through these different kind of like static channels, and then you're hearing these things live, right? So I interviewed somebody who's kind of an expert on that, and another guy that has ghost hunted a lot. And they had experiences, and they played a bunch of stuff that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm on the fence about that. But
Okay.
just recently,
Oh, Lord.
I heard
I don't know if I
pod-
want to hear this.
So there's something called the telepathy tapes. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't. I don't know
So
if I
this
wanna
is a
hear about
very analytical scientist, a pair, who have gone to non-speaking children that have autism, and they are essentially proving that they can read people's minds. And it's the most profound thing I've ever seen.
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to look that up, bro.
Yeah.
That's got my
Okay,
imagination.
we're at the 5 minutes. I knew we could talk forever, but like, how do we find more of your work
Yes.
and everything?
Sky Island Storytelling is my company. TheSkyIsland.com is my website. You can look up my name, Jeremy Norrie, on Google. It'll take you to my IMDb page. All of those places will make you able to find my work. You can even search my name on Amazon or Tubi TV, and you'll find quite a lot of my films that way.
Now, is anyone searching you for the quickening?
I don't think so.
Okay, because you are a McLeod, right?
Yeah. Like I have heard that there can be only one.
What's the
But
quickening?
there's a lot of
Oh,
us.
you-
so-
What's the quickening? I'm over here like,
Oh, yeah.
do I want to know?
Yeah,
There's a movie called Highlander.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna have to go watch
There
it.
can only be one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, like-
Yeah, please. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
totally
okay.
cool. Hey, we love all your stuff. We're gonna check you out, and thank you so much for coming on. And we'll get you on again.
Yes,
This
indeed.
is
Very
this was
interesting.
totally
'Cause
fun.
I have so many more
Yeah,
questions.
we
now.
scratched the surface barely. Can you do that segue for us, brother?
All right.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to tune in for Tribe and Grit right after the show with Tyrone and Ulysses. So stay tuned in for Tribe and Grit.
Tribe and Grit.
Hey, now.
And what do we got coming up next week, Ipyani?
You know what? We're going to have Noah James in the house for next week's show, as well as Johnny Miller is going to be coming through. So it's going to be an amazing show. Noah James is getting ready to tour MERS on his final tour.
Wow.
Johnny is amazing. Amazing guitarist, and it's kind of got that country kind of vibe, and I mean, it's going to be an awesome show. It's just going to be awesome.
Well, thank you, Jeremy Norrie, for coming on the show. We appreciate you. And Ipyani Lockhart, we love you, dude.
You as well, Robert Porter.
And we are
Outta
here.
The blues, loving me.